Merry Christmas, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Steve.
And I'm Scott, and Merry
Together,
Christmas.
we're Backyard Musings.
Yep, and we are going to talk about a few traditions today that our families have had over the years. I think at least that's what I'm going to talk about. So here we go.
There you go, Scott. Do it. Take it.
All right. Well, earlier when we were taping, I was mentioning to Steve that in my whole life, my family has never had a artificial Christmas tree. It's always been the real deal.
So you would
And
go out. You would go out. You would find it like Clark Griswold and cut it down and
yeah,
put it in the station wagon. And
I'm born and bred, raised in Southern California, so we never did that. We went to a tree
to the
lot,
yard.
and walked around, and got into fights about which was the best tree and which one was the straightest tree, and which was the tried to get the cheapest tree. And so that was back, when I was living with my family, my mom and my dad and my sister. And then, as the years went on, it got a little less important to my parents. So then when my wife and I got married, we started buying my folks a Christmas tree because they weren't going to get one because they got older. And we would drop it off at their house anonymously, like a DoorDash or all that. Ding dong
Ding dong
Christmas,
dash.
yeah, a Christmas tree. And so it kind of forced my mom to decorate because she loved
Kind
to
of throw
decorate.
it up on the porch and run.
Yeah, or we take it over there the night before and leave it. I mean, they would go to sleep pretty early, and so that was kind of fun. And because my mom loved to decorate, but as she got older, it just became harder, and she wasn't interested. And then with us, we've always, when we had our sons, we always had real trees, and same type of deal. Went through the same thing, going out and buying it. And then as the kids got older, and then we started having grandkids. Probably about 6-7 years ago, we just decided that we weren't going to buy a Christmas tree. So we went about about 7 years. Yeah, I know. About 7 years without having a real Christmas tree of any kind, other than we have this little ceramic one that we leave up all year. It's got these little lights on it and stuff that some friends of ours they used to make them and sell them. And so and then this year we just got a wild hair and decided, hey, let's look for a artificial tree. So we bought one. And it was touch and go. It just got here a couple days before Christmas, so we set it up in a matter of minutes. Figured out how to spread the branches out, and and now we are a member of the artificial Christmas tree world. So
No squirrels. This didn't come with a squirrel.
no squirrels, no spiders, no. It is flocked, which I told my wife, I guess if we don't like the flockness, which we could just take a hose to it and wash it off, just have a regular tree. But that got a little bit on the carpet yesterday. But other than that, no needles. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, hopefully it'll be a good thing.
We've had a fake tree for since we were married 7 years. So Cameron has only known fake trees, but the last 3 or 4 Christmases we've been in Utah, so we don't. I mean, all we have is this little guy right there in the room. So I don't know. We're moving to Michigan. I don't know if I broke that news yet. We are. We're going to retire. Sherry's retiring, and I'm stopping my side hustle, which has been pretty lucrative, and we're just going to retire in Michigan, Midland. So we'll probably have trees now since we're going to be home for Christmas. We'll probably get real trees. I'll insist on that.
So Midland, Michigan, you've been warned. Watch out. They're on their way. Well, that's cool. So
for Christmas tradition, Scott, do you guys like open one gift Christmas Eve or two, or do you save it for Christmas morning?
Well, again, going back to when we had kids in the home, we would open up, usually, if I remember correctly, and it hasn't been that long, we would open up one gift on Christmas Eve. And then the majority of it would be Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And so, and my sons, you know, I know my son here and his family, they open up their stocking gifts on Christmas Eve, and then they open up the regular presents under the tree on Christmas
Oh,
Day.
yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
I believe my son in Utah does that too. You know, we've never been up there on Christmas. They've either come down here, like they're doing this year. They're coming down here. Um, we've
Well,
always
there's
That's
always
really
next
a
year.
holiday that we've always tried to stay home.
Yeah, get out there next year.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just something about being at home on Christmas. Any other holiday, you know, we've traveled a little bit. Thanksgiving, we used to travel down to my in-laws down in Indio when we first got married, and that was just, it was good because it was, you know, I mean, we'd have groups of upward 110, 120 people. But Christmas has always just kind of been like a quiet thing,
Mhm.
um, at home type of thing. So, but yeah, open up Christmas gift, you know, a little bit. But, you know, I hate to break this to you, but it's like the Christmas tree. So my wife and I don't really, I mean, every day is Christmas, you know, when you're married to somebody like I'm married to. So it's,
Yeah.
it's really not a whole lot of Christmas present opening in the Hume Senior House. So yeah, I know it's a tearjerker. So, but you know, we see the madness and mayhem at my my son's house and other people's houses that we've gone over to at Christmas, and it's fun. You know, it's all about for little kids, really. Um, and we don't have little kids at home anymore, so but it's all good. We enjoy the fun that they have, and um, so how about you? Because
Oh,
you're a start over kind of guy. You've got adult
yeah.
kids, and you got a wee one at home. It's
Yeah.
six.
So we do the Christmas gift New Year's Eve and then open up the rest in the morning. And it's kind of like it's gotten to be like Dudley from Harry Potter. Mommy, I had 35 last year. I want 36 this year in presents, you know? Like, oh, Cameron, come on, man. Appreciate what you got.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, it's that's just one of those things. I mean, and again, I think over time, little kids understand as they get older that it's you know, Santa Claus has only got so much room in his bag, and he's only got so big a. He's not buying an SUV sleigh every year, so you know we gotta watch that. So, but it's cool. The kids, I love watching the little kids. You know, I grew up pretty much an only child. My sister moved out when I was about 8 or 9 years old. She's 10 years older than I am. And so, for the most part, I was the only kid in the house, kind of like your son. And so, it's a little different, you know, than when you got in my wife's family. There was three other siblings, and then eventually her mom and stepdad had a family of blended nine. And so, not that a lot of them were living at home when that was all happening, but you know, the larger the crowd, you grew up with a large family, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little different, I think, when you've got a lot more family around and stuff. I know when we were at church last Sunday, we heard a really cool talk from a short talk from one of the sisters there, and she's a widow now. Her husband died just a couple of years ago, and he was a great guy. But she gives her kids and grandkids money, and the only thing that she asks, and she said, "Yeah, you know, I know it's kind of boring, but I'd rather give them money than give them something that they're probably not going to use or not remember the next year. And that way they can go out and buy something. And if they forget about it, that's on them." But she asked them to send her a picture of what they bought. So if they bought a video game or they bought a book or they bought a jacket or whatever it is, she just liked to see a picture of it. And my wife and I both looked at each other and said, "Yeah, that's a cool idea." Not that we want to become, you know, the boring ones, but that's kind of where we're at. You know, I don't want to give somebody something that they're not going to use. I mean, how many ties can a guy have, right? Um, Unless you use a tie every day, and then you need a lot of them. But it's just, you know, I just thought that's a great idea. So that's probably hopefully my grandkids aren't listening, but that's probably what we're gonna start doing. So
something along the lines of what you said about take a picture and show me. I was looking on internet, so of course it must be true. The British royal family, they do gag gifts, white elephant gag gifts, instead of a meaningful gift. And I guess the reason being is when you're a monarch and you have everything, do you really need something, that you're going to remember? Or so they just do gags. So I wonder how Princess Kate, she was a commoner and her family enjoyed Christmas traditionally, I'm assuming, how she fits into this gag Christmas giving with the royal family. Or does she have her own with her husband and with the kids and give them gifts and stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny you mentioned them. I just saw a little special about them where they have moved away from Buckingham Palace. They live out in the country.
Kate William?
The prince and princess and their 3 kids. They've moved away from the hustle and bustle of London or wherever they were living, and they've kind of separated themselves. Not monarchically, but they've separated themselves from the hustle and bustle.
Hustle and bustle.
Yeah, I think that she's a lot like the prince's mother, where she just didn't like all the pomp and circumstance and stuff, and she wants to keep it real for her kids, which I think is very cool. I'm not much of a royal family watcher. I know a lot of people, our country, for whatever reason, is obsessed with them, and I have to remind some people that there was this time back in 1776 where July 4th is a very important day in my life. So, and it's not because of the fireworks; it's because what we did with a bunch of commoners against a British army and empire. So, but anyway, it's all good. I mean, I don't have a problem with people doing that. But yeah, it's kind of cool when you hear about people that are obviously in the limelight and they want to keep it simple. And but I think the gag gift thing is kind of cool. There are some, I know there's some groups, like young people will get together and have, there's some, and I've never been involved in this, where you get a gift and then you can trade it to somebody or re-gift it or whatever. I forget.
It just seems like it's devoid of intimacy. I mean, this is a family we're talking about. You'd think that grandchild would want to give grandpa something, really, really special, and they don't do that.
Right. Or, you got grandpa giving, a grandchild or something that he's maybe cherished in his lifetime. But times change. I mean, I didn't play with video games. There weren't any video games around when I was growing up. So what am I going to do? I'm not going to give my kid a video game. I mean, my kids have video games, but I never played them. And so it's the traditions seem to be, I don't know if they're going away, but they seem to be changing a lot. Where let's say, you're from an area of the country that was outdoorsy, right? I mean, a grandpa might give his grandson a rifle, maybe a .22 rifle, a starter rifle or something like that. And today, that's just kind of frowned upon, in a lot of areas where you just don't hand that stuff down anymore. So I don't know. But traditions are cool. I remember it was a big deal in my house to decorate, and we did that at the beginning of our marriage. And then as the kids got older, we just kind of got away from that. So, but I like going to houses that are decorated. It's just kind of a hassle. They haul all the stuff down from the rafters and then put it all back up and, blow it all off. And it's got one more year of dust on it. But it's fun though. And I remember going shopping, when we first moved here to the high desert, there was nothing up here. And we would travel to the big city of San Bernardino and go to the department stores and the malls down there. And it was cool to see all the glitz and glamour and stuff of all the decorating. But again, later on in my life, it's just taken on a whole new meaning. There's just different. So
all right, folks. I think There we go. Thanks for joining us on Christmas. We appreciate it.
You guys all have a great day.
Okay, we'll see you.
Take care.